celebrate two feasts in one as we trace the history of this day back to the ancient church. The first is the feast of Palm Sunday, which comes from Jerusalem, which is that which recounted, as we did at the beginning of Mass, the entrance of Jesus into the city. Palm Sunday, the week begins with the word Hosanna, Hosanna. The gates are thrown open to let in the one who is to come, the one all acclaim as the Blessed One. The green palms of welcome and praise adorn the skyline on Sunday. On Friday, the cry is different. Crucify him. The one who has been welcomed into the city is taken outside the city gates and nailed to a tree. The palms that were green on Sunday have become dry with abandonment and fear. We hold palms on Sunday. What happens to my palm and your palm? The second feast comes from Rome, and it is called Passion Sunday. And so we have this joint Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday put together on the same day. And this year we read from the Passion of Luke. And so we might want to attend particularly to the note that he sounds in the sufferings of the Lord. And above all the other evangelists, I think we could say that St. Luke, who was reputed to be a physician, a doctor, draws attention to the fact that Jesus bleeds. In the garden, in the agony, it is St. Luke who recounts that he was under such enormous pressure that his sweat became as drops of blood. Now, as I understand it, there is indeed a condition, a real condition, where the blood vessels break, the capillaries break into the sweat glands, and it is quite possible indeed to sweat blood. But this is a dramatic sign for us of the eruption outside of the suffering inside Jesus' body and soul. He bleeds in the garden in anticipation. The day of his passion, he is scourged mercilessly to make him bleed. He then is crowned with thorns, and we know how the skull, with the slightest little prick, the blood flows easily. You think about it, if they had just taken him out and nailed him to the cross, he would have suffered intensely, of course, but he wouldn't have bled so much. But there is all this bleeding that St. Luke draws our attention to of our Savior. And as he bleeds his way to Calvary, we notice, as we step back, as it were, and view the scene from above, that there are two groups. Really, there are those in the first group who step away from the blood. There is Judas, who betrays him, who distances himself the most of all from the one he has accompanied. There is Peter, who denies him. There is Pilate, who washes his hands of him and condemns him to bleed very deeply. All of this is a distancing from the blood of the Savior. That's one group. But there's another group. There's those who step away from the blood, but there are those who step into the passion, who deliberately come close to the bleeding one. There is Simon of Cyrene, who, an innocent passerby, is drawn quite beyond expectation into this world-changing event, comes close to the blood, and gets the blood on his flesh. There is Veronica, who consoles the one who is bleeding and wipes his bloody face with her veil. And most of all, there is Mary, the mother, who shares the death of the one who bleeds his life away for you and me. St. Luke is our evangelist this Passion Sunday, and so we might conclude our brief reflections on his account by turning to the centurion who stands at the foot of the cross. According to St. Luke, what is it this centurion overhears? Imagine yourself at this scene, the single most dramatic hours in the history of the world, and you hear what it comes from the lips of the one who bleeds on the cross. What did he hear? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. This day you will be with me in paradise. Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. That's what the centurion heard. And it prompted a confession from him. This was truly an innocent man. This man who has bled before us. We can't learn the lessons of the cross from a distance. You can't overhear what the centurion heard, which when you think about those words of Jesus, it's the heart of the whole gospel. It's the revelation of the infinite mercy of God for every sinner and the promise of redemption. You can't hear that from a distance. Judas, Peter, Pilate, those words were lost on them that day. We must stand beneath the cross with the centurion, with Mary, to know the meaning of this event. We have to come close enough to be touched by the blood. And we could imagine that if we come there with our dry, withered palm, that the drop of the blood would turn it green once again.